Are you looking for better shooting experience? How about a facility where you can shoot all of your firearms in the same day, where you can move and shoot steel, draw from the holster, and practice your rifle work out to 600 yards? Shoot a very challenging sporting clays course or a round of trap or skeet. You can do all that and much more at the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Hi, I'm David Lombardo, president of the Aurora Sportsman's Club. If you love the outdoors, you'll want to know all about Northern Illinois' largest outdoor shooting facility, the Aurora Sportsman's Club. If you're a novice looking for a basic course, an experienced shooter looking for an advanced course, or perhaps you want to participate in your favorite shooting event, or just spend an enjoyable day with a family, the Aurora Sportsman's Club is the only shooting facility in the region that offers all that and more. Interested? Then you won't want to miss the next orientation and tour of the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Call, email, or visit our website today to find out how you can become part of a better shooting experience at the Aurora Sportsman's Club in Waterman, Illinois.
He is the human Molotov cocktail that they can legally throw into the system that stole their lives from them.
So we're going to create a new government that serves you, your family, and your country.
It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues, here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, David's rant of the week is, the national anthem gets no respect, with David and Gretchen taking a look at the difference between protesting the national anthem as a civilian and as active duty military personnel. Next, we'll take a look at who's holding up the concealed carry national reciprocity bills, and Trump's UN speech once again underscores we have a president that believes in America's exceptionalism and puts American interests ahead of all else. All that and more on tonight's On Target Radio. So give us a call at 815-205-1584. That's 815-205-1584. Or go to Facebook, like our page On Target Radio, and ask a question or make a comment there.
And now, from the seething cauldron of personal opinion, it's time for David's Rant of the Week.
No man or woman should ever have to choose a job that forces them to surrender their rights. Pithy quote. Who do you think said it? President Trump? Attorney General Jeff Sessions? Maybe Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch? Sorry, it was a spokesman for the NFL Players Union. I kid you not. A union spokesman made that statement. Unions are the money clip of liberalism. They are a group of certifiable nuts that want people put in jail for refusing to make a gay wedding cake because it violates their religious beliefs. Now, suddenly, liberals are shouting from the rooftops that no one should have to choose between their conscience and their job. What triggered yet more liberal anti-American tripe was President Trump's recent tweet. If NFL fans refuse to go to games until players stop disrespecting our flag and country, you will see change take place fast. Fire or suspend. Well, predictably, liberals went berserk. The press immediately tried to sell the public that Trump's comment was racially motivated. You know, nobody with an IQ over 50 is buying it. However, that does leave many NFL members open to the idea. But the Idiot of the Week award has to go to DeMaurice Smith, the executive director of the NFL Players Association, who tweeted, and I quote, "We will never back down. We no longer can afford to stick to sports," unquote. So now the NFL Players Association is saying that the NFL isn't going to just be about sports. It's going to become, what, a social commentary organization? You can't make this stuff up. And the NFL wonders why attendance is tanking, big time. NFL game attendance so far this year has seen stadiums with less attendance than job training programs for welfare recipients. Attendance has been dismal, with some games showing as many as 50% of the seats empty. The Los Angeles Rams and San Francisco 49ers game was significantly better in its attendance, and the NFL was quick to shout, "See, we told you, our fans agree with us." You know, but let's be real. It's California, the most anti-American state in the union. NFLPA President Eric Winston was touting how wonderful NFL players are and said, "Our players are men who are great philanthropists, activists, and community leaders who stand up for each other and their beliefs," unquote. You know, for a bunch of stand-up guys, they seem to be spending an awful lot of time on their knees, especially during the national anthem. Oh, yeah, and when they're getting handcuffed by cops. If you think these philanthropists and community leaders are taking a stance for the good of our country, you probably don't know that since the year 2000, the longest span between two NFL players being arrested was 65 days. According to PJ Media, an NFL player is arrested on average every 7 days. Here's a partial list of NFL player arrests according to the Daily Wire. 218 DUIs, 100 drug busts, 98 domestic violence, 74 assault, and 44 disorderly conduct. Now, since the beginning of this year's football season, a couple of weeks, there have been 7 assault and battery, 6 drug-related charges, 5 DUIs, 5 domestic violence, 4 disorderly conduct, 2 resisting arrest, a gun-related charge, 1 licensed traffic offense, and 1 other. I don't even want to know what falls under the other category. Airsats quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who started the kneeling for the national anthem trend last year, still hasn't been signed by an NFL team for this season. Kaepernick remains on his knees, which, if one is purely pragmatic, might well be the best position for him to be in if he hopes to get anyone's attention on the scouting department. The Dallas Cowboys, however, have proven once again they are America's team. They just announced that they would be standing for the national anthem. I've always loved Texas. Smith went on to say, quote, "I am extremely disappointed in the statements made by the president. The comments were a slap in the face to the civil rights heroes of the past and present, soldiers who have spilled blood in countless wars to uphold the values of this great nation, and American people of all races, ethnicities, genders, and sexual orientations who see civil progress as a means to make this country and this world a better place," unquote. That's the biggest load of crap I've heard since midterm elected Republicans screamed, "Send me to Congress and I'll make sure Obamacare is repealed." According to the Department of Defense article published in 2016, there are 10 NFL players who have served in the military out of approximately 1,700 players. So much for NFL soldiers who have spilled blood. Well, in service to their country anyway. There is an upside to all this. The Chicago Police Department announced yesterday that they are replacing all the sirens in the squad cars with the Star Spangled Banner to force suspects to stop running and take a knee. Anyone who knows me knows I've never been a sports fan and particularly have no love for the NFL. But I'm a capitalist to the core, and I have no problem with anyone getting multi-million-dollar contracts. If someone offered me that kind of money, I'd grab it in a heartbeat. But I am sick and tired of pampered, spoiled children making millions of dollars to play a game, then complain about how bad life is. Whether they like it or not, they are de facto role models. It comes with the territory. I don't care what they talk about in private, but in public, they should pretend they're thankful for the opportunity this country has provided them when most of them don't qualify to be a McDonald's cashier. In public, they should be respectful, honor our country, and just shut up and play football. And that, Gretchen, is my rant for the week.
Yeah, a lot of people were likening it to other people, protesting at their jobs and, or just spouting off any kind of political opinion that you want to do. And, most of us at our jobs can't do that.
No.
It behooves you to keep your mouth shut about your political views at work. And so, that's their workplace, and they, as you say, they should shut up and play football.
The owners let them get away with it.
Yes.
But what ticks me off, and we talked about this the other day, what ticks me off is when the Dallas Cowboys wanted to put a sticker on their helmet to honor all those cops. A bunch of cops got killed in Dallas, shot down by these people.
Right.
Oh, we can't do that. We can't do that. And one player, and I don't remember who it was, but one player's mother, I think it was, maybe wife, but I think it was the mother, had breast cancer, and he wanted to just, the little pink, that's that little thing, wanted to put on his helmet. No, he can't do it. Can't make statements. NFL can't make statements. What's this?
Yeah, what is this?
Yeah.
That's interesting because, like in baseball, they have a day where they all wear, they all add something pink to their outfits,
pantyhose and stuff. I don't know. No, that was Joe Namath. I'm sorry. I'm not suggesting Joe Namath was, he used the men's room.
Yes,
pretty sure he did.
Standing up,
yeah, with pantyhose.
Which
But
is
the point is. The attendance continues to dwindle.
Yes.
And who was it? Which team? The Steelers. The Steelers late last week made a plea to the fans to not abandon them. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, they said, "Please don't abandon us." That's literally what they said. Please don't abandon us. But here's the thing: they didn't say, "You know what? We were wrong." This is supposed to be about sports, not political statement.
They abandoned that one guy out at the mouth of the tunnel.
Right. That's right. Was that the Steelers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least one of them had the cojones to stand up.
Yeah.
But then he kind of backed
and then they
down.
right. I was going to say then they shamed him into like saying, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have been a team player."
He was a veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marine, I think, if I recall. This is, this whole thing's getting out of hand. Every time I read something about Trump, they just continue to make stuff up. And they take stuff that he says out of context and make it look bad. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny that you can take things from Twitter, which is 140 characters, that you can still take it out of context.
Well, and that's true.
There isn't a lot of context to begin with.
And that may be the problem. This is a spirited debate among the cognoscenti, our little group, right? Mm-hmm. And Larry Horace, who, he was advisor to a couple of presidents and stuff, and he's a pretty smart guy, is retired, and he lives in Florida, but he's part of our little group, and he really doesn't like Trump. He likes him better than Hillary. I mean, he voted for Trump, but he's like, I don't like him. So we're always having this little debate. I said today, I got to find my button that says I love Trump, and he goes, you can find him anywhere. People aren't buying it. It goes back and forth. Anyway, when we come back, we'll talk a little more probably about that. I don't know. We're going to talk about when Black Lives Matter and Trump, the Trump group collide. All that and more when we return with more on Target Radio.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. The On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Do you dread writing? Is it challenging to find just the right words to get your point across? Do you put off developing marketing materials because you just don't know where to start? You get one chance to make a first impression, and my editor, Creative Business Services, can help make it a strong, positive one. Hi, this is Gretchen Fritz, co-host of On Target Radio, and I'd like to tell you about My Editor, a business I started to help you overcome those concerns. What you're experiencing is very common. My Editor has helped business owners, candidates for political office, and even authors and public speakers. At My Editor Creative Business Services, we can simply edit your existing work or help you develop an entire writing plan of action from initial project design through final copy. We are easy to work with and will help you get your point across in the most effective manner. If words escape you, send me an email at myeditor@mail.com. Use My Editor Creative Business Services and go to print with confidence. That's My Editor at mail.com or find us on Facebook.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And now, speaking of things you can't say at work. See, that was my segue. That was good, wasn't it?
Oh, great.
You know, I just sometimes get the impression that I'm not fully appreciated here. Okay, I blew a lead last time, okay? But I made up for it.
I gave him the perfect segue.
Yeah.
He did not take it.
I just did. I took it. Rim shot and all. You know, I mean, it's big time.
It's pretty bad when you have to add a rim shot.
George would have.
Well, yeah.
And it probably, what was that? That
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is, see, there is a certain level of sanity that's still left amid all this stuff.
Yes.
And here is this.
Thank God.
She was a petty officer, I believe.
I think it's Navy Reserve or something.
Navy petty officer, I'm pretty sure. And she thought she was going to be really smart. Now, you got to set this thing up a little bit.
Yes.
She is a reservist, or she was a reservist. And so she was doing her reserve duty, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's in security. She has a security clearance.
Right.
And while she's serving on active duty, she basically doesn't stand for the national anthem. Now, in the military, it's not like in civilian life. You don't have an option here.
No.
They have a thing called general orders. Every branch does. We had our general orders, too, which I suspect were probably the same as the Navy ones. They're probably Department of Defense. Mm-hmm. And you had to memorize them in basic training.
Right.
And one of those things is very, very specific. One of those things says, I don't remember.
Salute all officers and colors and standards not cased.
There you go, which is the flag and the national anthem. In a military installation, when you hear the national anthem, you stop driving.
Okay.
People stop driving, get out of their car, and stand and salute the flag.
Right, you have to
exactly, and so
stand
the whole
at
base.
attention. Right, you have to stand at attention and salute.
Exactly, the whole
for that
installation
2
comes
minutes
to a
or
halt.
whatever.
That's
right.
And she thinks she's going to be smart and make a statement and not stand up. She did make a statement. Her statement was, I don't want to work here anymore.
Right. Basically, she says, I just didn't want to stand at that moment. I can't stand for this song knowing that the song isn't for me, being black.
Now, I'm not going to go through the words of the Star-Spangled Banner, but nowhere in there do I actually find, let's have more slaves, or I mean, how does it not apply?
Or yay whitey, or
exactly.
You know, it's not in there.
It just didn't make it. It was in the first draft. It just didn't make it through.
Well, there are a couple of verses that we don't sing, but I've read them,
Nobody
and
sings
it's not
those.
in those
No,
either.
No,
it's not in those
nobody
verses
goes
either.
that far. It's one, you know what, you want to play ball, so you
right.
cough out the first one and
right.
let's get going.
They just do one of the four and get on with it.
But if you think about it, and you know, I don't want to get maudlin about this, but if you think about it, what other country on the surface of this earth has given people as much opportunity as this country? And particularly blacks, people who were brought here as slaves and then through a very painful process unslaved.
Right.
And I don't mean pain from the standpoint they should have remained that. I mean, the 60s were very troubled times.
Well, and the Civil War was no picnic either.
No, well, of course not. No, if there was a Civil War, I didn't know that. I don't see any statues or anything from it.
Good one. Good one. There you go. That's the right.
I hope George
is
listening.
Moment.
I hope George is listening.
That's the right moment for the rim shot. Well, George is actually producing another show right now, but maybe
now.
Yeah, maybe he'll listen to us later.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know they still had him producing at night. I thought he was just working all day during. What is he? Like live there now?
No, he's like their everything guy.
Yeah, so he must live there. I don't know. Anyway, it's not funny. I think it's kind of funny because she got her just rewards.
It is kind of funny.
It's the typical arrogant. I don't feel like standing now.
Yeah.
Well,
So at first, she was assigned to menial labor for a few days, and then she was just fired.
yeah, that's it. And the interesting thing is, she apparently was one of those individuals, and it's not that uncommon in things like security and sort of specialized areas where it's your civilian job, and then you're like in the reserves or something. So you started in the military and you got the training, and then you get the civilian counterpart job, and you stay in the reserves, and so you're working. Yeah, she lost that too.
So her bread was buttered on both sides.
Yeah, and she lost that, and that would not be a poor job. That would not be a bad
no.
paying job.
Generally, that would be a very high paying job.
Yeah.
I know somebody who did that in hazmat.
Yeah,
Hazmat abatement.
that's really earning your money.
He made a lot of money.
Yeah, how many fingers did he have?
No, he had all of his fingers.
I mean, those guys are that
Oh yeah, I mean,
can be nasty stuff.
I'm sure it's hazardous, which is why
Yeah.
they make a lot of money doing it.
I remember when I went through the sheriff's training, they had a dash cam video of a cop. There was an overturned tanker truck, and he bailed out of his car to try and get the guy out of the truck cab, and went through this pool of something, and his like feet melted off. I mean, he just it was not good.
Yeah, they didn't show us any gross videos, but yeah, when I was in academy, they were like, if you don't know what it is, it's hazmat. Don't walk in it. Don't breathe it. Don't touch it.
Don't get downwind from it. Yeah,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, they're very drive that point home in the academy.
Did they give you the orange book with all the numbers?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
and you
sounds
see a
right.
truck and you look it up and it says milk.
Right.
Okay, well, okay.
Right. There's all the symbols, and then and then the numbers, what the numbers mean. Yeah, we had all that.
So I don't know. I think that of this whole thing, and I don't want to spend a whole segment on this, but I think of this whole thing, the thing that really struck me the most is she consciously did what she did.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly knew it was in violation of military regulations because she had to memorize that in boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, what she says is the Navy decided to punish me for defending the Constitution. I cannot imagine how you derive that. I mean, how do you...
You're like literally gobsmacked.
Yes. I mean, I don't honestly understand how you can look at that situation and say that she was defending the Constitution. These people, this entitlement crap is ridiculous. It really is. If you disagree with that, if you think she was unjustly treated, call us at 815-205-1584. And we'll hang up on you. No, we won't. We won't hang up. We won't do that.
Call in and give us your opinion, and then we'll taunt you.
Yeah. Well, I have an opinion. I think they ought to not sell pumpkins until like the day before. Okay. Isn't it time? Never mind. We're not going to even go down that road.
Don't say that.
No.
Don't say
I'm not
it.
going down that road. You know who I miss?
Who do you miss?
John.
Yeah.
I miss John.
Yeah.
John, you only got 30 seconds. Oh, okay. That was 30 seconds. Bye.
He only did that like once.
Yeah, but he's good at it. He was like Rain Man, you know. He dropped the toothpicks and he goes 326. It's I don't know. Good old John. And what was her name?
Millie.
Millie. Yeah, Millie was the other one. Anyway,
We don't need our foil hats anymore, so.
no, you know. Someday we'll go back to WIND, probably as janitors, but 4 years was, yeah. Now, did you see the thing? I really found this very interesting. Did you see the video about the pro-Trump? They had this huge pro-Trump thing in Washington. It's really very interesting.
I read the article, but no, I didn't see the video.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting because they had all the permits. Everything it was doing was legit. It was a pro-Trump rally. It was very, very large. They call it the mother of all rallies.
Which is hilarious.
Oh, well, yeah. What can I say?
Everything pertaining to Trump has to be huge.
Mother, yeah, including the bomb, Moab.
Yeah.
But, so, you know, who shows up, as one would expect Black Lives Matter shows up. But here's where it gets really interesting. The guy who was running the pro-Trump rally said, in fact, I'll read what he said because I think it is interesting. His name is Tommy Gunn. And what he said was, so you guys know that the mother of all rallies was to end the political violence. It's about freedom of speech. It's about celebration. So what we're going to do is something you're not used to, and we're going to give you 2 minutes of our platform to put your message out. Now, whether they disagree or agree with your message is irrelevant. It's the fact that you have the right to have that message. It's your right to say what you believe, and it's their right to let you know what they think about what you're saying. And he was talking to the guy who was the head of Black Lives Matter, who's from New York, which I think really threw the guy off at first. If I'd have been him, I'd have probably gotten up, squinting and looking around to see, are there any rifles in the crowd?
Yeah.
But
do people bring rotten fruit?
Exactly. But his name is Hank Newsom, and he's president of Black Lives Matters in New York, and he was quite eloquent. You really should, if you get a chance, you should watch the video. I'm listening to this guy, and I'm going, this guy's good. I would listen to this guy. I would talk to this guy.
It was actually pretty surprising what he says, although I'm not really sure what he's talking about when he says you could watch a black man die and be choked to death on television. Is he talking about Eric Garner?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that reference is pretty old if he is talking about Garner.
Yeah.
But he says, we're not anti-cop, we're anti-bad cop. All lives matter, right? But when a black life is lost, we get no justice. That is why we say Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. I mean, the difference of opinion, but I thought it was eloquent the way he said it. If you watch him, I think he did a really nice job. The problem is most of the crime committed today, the majority of it, is gangbangers, and most of the gangbangers are black. They're in black neighborhoods. We don't make that stuff up. That's just what it is. It's not 100%. There's Irish gangs. I mean, there's white gangs too, but a lot of them are black, and they are in those neighborhoods, and that's where the vast majority of violent crime in this country takes place there. They never show the whole video. I think back to Rodney King.
Yeah.
What you saw in the Rodney King video, and this is a long time ago, but it's indicative. What you saw was them pulling him out of a car and beating the snot out of him, and that's irrefutable. What you didn't see is he led them on a multi-mile chase, high-speed chase. They were back and forth. He was taunting. They were doing all kinds of stuff. He was resisting arrest, and they finally got their hands on him and got him on the ground, and that's the clip that you see.
Right.
You don't see everything that led up to it. Now, people go, doesn't matter what led up to it. It was excessive force. And there was excessive force. I'm not going to argue that. You go out on the street and get punched and kicked by people and go in a high-speed chase where you almost kill civilians and stuff like that, and you finally get the guy and he's resisting, he's punching you. Let me take the video starting at that moment. Let's see what it looks like.
Exactly. And, you have to deal with the reality of when you're in that situation, high-speed chase, trying to arrest somebody, he's resisting, you're probably having multiple adrenaline dumps is probably what's actually happening. And to think rationally at that point is not possible.
You already let the cork out of the bottle.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You can't calm yourself down at that point. And, of course it's never right for cops to do that, but just there's a biological reason why those type of things happen. There's a certain
aspect of it that it just is what it is.
It can't control it.
If you didn't run away, I used to have a T-shirt that said, "If you run away, you'll only go to jail tired." So, all right, when we come back, we're going to talk about black Chicagoans ignoring Democratic leaders. So all that and more when we return with more on Target Radio. Hi, I'm David Lombardo, co-host of On Target Radio, and I'd like to offer you a partnership opportunity. For over 4 years, On Target Radio covered the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech on AM 560 The Answer. But a 1-minute commercial was $200, making it tough to find enough sponsors. So last November, we left AM 560 and began podcasting. There's a learning curve to podcasting, and we've worked through the kinks and would now like to make you an offer. You can have a 60-second audio or video commercial for as little as $25 a week. We can also offer fellow conservatives their own radio or video podcast for as little as $100 a week with equipment and technical personnel included. You provide the content and host, plus get 6 free minutes of commercial time you can sell yourself. If you'd like to be an On Target Radio sponsor or explore the possibility of having your own show, call me at 815-741-3474, and let's explore the possibilities together.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
This segment is brought to you by the Will County Grassroots Division of the Illinois State Rifle Association. Join us at 7 p.m. Wednesday, October 18th at the Silver Dollar Restaurant in Elwood, Illinois. Our guest speakers will be Judge David Carlson, attorneys Ed Ronkowski and Ryan Freitag, and David Lombardo discussing your day in court. Can't make it to Elwood? The program will be broadcast live and archived for future viewing on youtube.com on Target Radio. Join us Wednesday, October 18th at 7 p.m. at the Silver Dollar Restaurant in Elwood, Illinois.
This little thing about black Chicagoans ignoring Democratic leaders is a very heartwarming story.
It is.
I thought, Democrats have been running big cities since probably the Civil War, close, and blacks their position have not changed one iota, not one bit. For all the wonderful things that the Democrats have given the black population, it's all pretty much been designed to keep them where they are.
Yeah.
Because it's votes.
Right.
And this is about black women, which makes it even better yet.
Yeah.
You know what? They're getting tired of being shot and having their kids shot. Mm-hmm. So I found this little piece very interesting.
And even robbed and raped. I mean, violent crimes of every kind. Yeah, it says the Chicago Tribune is reporting that nearly 1,400 black women in Illinois have received concealed carry permits just in 2017. And this was written in the middle of September.
Yeah, I think we're missing a demographic. Say for USA. I think
definitely.
Missing a demographic.
Definitely.
You know what we could do? We could hire, what's her name, Rachel, whatever. She could instruct for us.
Rachel?
Yeah, what's her name? Whose parents said, my daughter's not black.
Oh.
It's Rachel, isn't it? Rachel?
Yeah, I can't remember what her last name is, though.
I can't either.
The one who self-identifies as
Self-identifies, yeah, as being black. That's great.
I'll find it.
It's really humiliating when your parents go on television and say, and they're white as lily, our daughter's not black. I mean, that's anyone that does that to their parents deserves to be flogged. But yeah, there's more now in the city of Chicago. There's over 4,000 black women that have concealed carry permits, which is very heartwarming. It really is.
Tom Dart's like crapping himself.
Yeah, really, seriously. They and see the really important.
He probably
thing,
saw that headline. He's like, "Don't."
What I find really interesting about this is they've been, increasing over the past couple of years, and there's no blood in the streets yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that?
Yeah. It's
and whatever happened to those Democrats like eating their words too?
No, that's the absolutely unbelievable part of liberalism. They'll make something up, or they'll take a fact, pull it out of the context, massage it, and make it their thing.
Yeah, I mean, the hyperbole.
Yeah.
I mean, like the blood running in the streets.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, maybe some people get shot, but now it's blood running in the street. It's always hyperbole with them.
And then when you prove that they're wrong, because whatever their dire prediction is doesn't happen, they don't care. It doesn't bother them. They just go on to the next one.
It's like bullshit off a duck's back.
I've never heard that before. It's bulls and ducks. Really, bulls don't swim, I don't think.
It's one of those mixed metaphors.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, I can live with that. It's not a cue. I shouldn't have picked up on it as a segue.
No,
right?
no,
Okay,
no.
I just want to be sure.
No, I'm not
we don't
trying
have
to
something
hint
here
at
about
anything.
bulls crapping on ducks' backs somewhere.
Back to the woman who self-identifies as black. It's Dolezal, Rachel Dolezal.
Ah, Rachel Dolezal. That's it. That's who it is. Yeah. this is the problem with Republicans. We don't have this expansive imagination. I mean, I'm an old white guy.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
It's kind of fun. We're kind of regular.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm not that regular. Chemo does it, but that's a different issue. But it's.
Although people do, I will say that people find it to be like an interesting dichotomy that I'm like an elected official, but I also teach firearm, courses, and
like you should be a
and then I
liberal.
I bake cakes on the weekends. I mean, they just think that's kind of.
But do you bake gay cakes?
No.
See,
My cakes are straight.
there you go. They better be because I eat them. We're not even going down that road.
You already went way too far.
You know how I used to talk.
Just stopped.
You know how I used to talk about the pinker could get right up to the line without crossing it. I've crossed it a couple
Yeah,
times.
you get there and you just like trip and fall over.
Well, what can I say? And it's
See, now I'm thinking of like yet another bad joke, but I'm
got one.
gonna stop.
I have one. I'm ready to go with one.
I know, me too.
Speaking
The
of
rest of this segment is just
down
in the crapper.
yeah, down the tank. It's definitely down the tank. Anyway, back to black women in the bad neighborhoods arming themselves.
Yes,
We were just talking about Ron Dazell the other day.
we were.
Yeah, and we should have her as a guest speaker out at the ISRA grassroots meeting.
Yeah, you
She's
should.
a nice lady.
She is a nice lady.
Yeah.
And she has a unique perspective
She certainly does.
as a conservative black woman in Cook County
Yeah.
in Chicago.
Living in the ghetto.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, she doesn't really get as much press as this other lady, Javon Lynn Dunnigan. She actually got a lot of press. Our editor for the Illinois Shooter, Richard, he sent me an article about her, and he wanted me to include some stuff about her and her people in the article that I just wrote for the Shooter about women's shooting clubs. And so, I mean, she's getting a ton. I mean, if you like Google her name, she's getting a ton of press. But she said the women that she teaches in Chicago are finally beginning to realize they're becoming victims, and they decided to do something about it. I may have to write another article just about the black women getting into
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
getting into shooting and self-defense and concealed carry and all that sort of thing, because it didn't really. I was really already very long on my article about the women's shooting clubs, and this really, they do have a group that meets on a regular basis,
Yeah.
so I guess it sort of fit, but I did find some other stuff, so I may have to write another article about this one, because it seems prescient.
Maybe we should be pitching something to black women. Except the problem is we're like 300 miles.
The problem is Waterman, yeah.
We're so far out.
And what do an old white woman and an old white man have to offer? I mean, how are we
How
going
to
to make
shoot people?
How are we going to make a special pitch to black women? I don't really know.
We can teach them how to defend themselves.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. You're saying make a pitch. I mean, we would be teaching them the exact same thing that we teach white people.
Right, but the point is they're in a region that we haven't marketed to. But
we're not accessible.
We're so far away.
Yeah.
And a lot of inner city people, not race based, just a lot of inner city people don't own a
have
car.
cars,
They don't they commute to work. They don't have a
Exactly.
car.
Yeah.
And I've known a few people who live in the city who have a car and it's not in the city.
Right.
Because they don't need it in the
They
city,
keep it
so it's somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it goes back to. I had gotten a phone call from. Now I can't remember what the heck he did because we talked about this.
There was one guy you said who was going to take our class. He was a postal carrier in Chicago, in some like Englewood or Woodlawn or someplace like that.
Yeah.
And,
So they never shoot the postman.
I don't think he ever came though.
No. Where do we see him? A zombie shoot or something? I can't remember where we saw him.
No, he called you.
Maybe. Okay.
It was a couple of years ago.
There was a guy who called, and he does something I can't remember, but something that you and I talked about that you were familiar with. I don't remember what it was. And he suggested that he had one of those semi-trailer ranges.
Sure.
And we were talking about going into the inner city, literally setting it up on a street, and teaching like women how to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, when I looked into it, Chicago won't allow you to do that. Cook County won't allow you to do that.
No.
It's, they're locked down on that stuff.
Right.
Now, the latest round of Ezel is, the first go around was you have to let gun stores and ranges in the city. So then they came out with all those ordinances. Okay, you can build a gun range in Chicago, but it can't be within 8,000 miles of a school or a daycare center or a place where people go to the restrooms or any place that has a sign written in English.
Or a church.
Or a church, yeah. And by the time you got done,
or a bar,
you couldn't have a gun store. So Ezel went back to the appellate court and go, they're cheating.
Right.
I don't think she said that exactly, but
yeah.
Metaphorically speaking,
it was not really the spirit of the ruling.
Yeah, and to the best of my knowledge, I don't think there's yet a gun range in the city of Chicago, is there?
No. There still isn't.
They've got some like right up next to it.
Right close, yeah.
But they don't.
Like I know Oak Park opened one, and
Oak Park did.
Yeah, that's
seriously.
I want to say that's where the woman, this Javon Lynn Dunnigan. I want to say that's where her club is. Yeah, there's one in Oak Park.
Wow.
There was another one that was really close that that opened. I can't remember what that one was, but yeah, there've been a few. And there's always been Chuck's, which is Riverdale.
Yeah,
right?
Riverdale.
And
Larry.
And that Midwest Guns is in Lyons. That's very close. That's like Southside.
Yeah, yeah, and so is. Did you just hear Morse code?
No.
It's probably my hearing aids.
It's the NSA.
My hearing aids are sending me a message. Wrap this segment up. Get on to the next one. We're getting tired. I take the battery out.
The NSA is like trying to send you subliminal messages, but you heard it by accident.
That's scary. Yeah. So when we come back, I got more time than that I need. But Ryan, this guy's a Republican, right?
I don't know. I think he's starting to seem more and more like a rhino.
Yeah. I just apparently he's the one that's not letting concealed carry reciprocity come
up for a vote. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about him when we come back. We'll probably say unkind things. I'm guessing. When we come back, we'll talk about Ryan and more. When we return with more
on Target Radio.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. The On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
In need of a ride to O'Hare or Midway Airport? Well, look no further. The Yellow Checker Cab Company is the cab company for you. With the Yellow Checker Cab Company, you will always be greeted by a friendly face and arrive safely and on time for your flight. Start your trip off right by taking advantage of one of their limos, shuttle vans, cabs, or courtesy cars. And airport trips are not all they specialize in. This 24-hour cab service will pick you up anytime, any day, for any occasion. occasion, from bachelorette parties to school dances to just a night out with friends. Yellow Checker Cab Company has the best rates in town. So sit back, relax, and leave the driving to the professionals. Once you experience their fast and affordable cab service, you'll be a customer for life. When it comes to cab companies, be sure to choose Yellow Checker Cab, because you have the right to expect certain things from your cab company. For further information or to book your trip today, call 815-744-2900. That's 815-744-2900.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
The ISRA's annual Sighting In Day will be Saturday, October 7th from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the ISRA Range in Bonfield. This event is open to the public and offers free parking. The cost is $10 per firearm and includes targets and patterning boards. It is recommended that you bring at least 25 rounds of ammo for each firearm. No ammunition will be available at the range. You may sight in your shotgun, rifle, pistol, muzzleloader, and bow. Please contact your congressman and encourage them to support the Sportsman's Heritage and Recreational Enhancement, or SHARE Act, H.R. 3668, when it comes up for a vote. It passed out of committee September 12th and is expected to come up for a full House vote soon, but liberal media outlets are trying to whip up hysteria against it. Back to you.
Well, that was certainly quick, wasn't it? We have a caller on the line. Let's see. Are you there? Well, that sounds like you.
It does. Oh,
Up, I heard him.
no, it's you.
Are you there?
Well, I'm talking to myself.
They've got their computer too loud.
Apparently, I don't know. There was somebody. There was somebody on. I don't know.
Okay, hang up.
Well, it is what it is. Sorry, didn't.
So we got a comment on Facebook. I think it was probably when we were making the jokes about the gay cakes, and Raymond said, "Behave yourselves."
I was not suggesting that it is inappropriate to have a gay cake. I think it's perfectly fine to have a gay cake. Keep it away from children, but other than that, that's it. I'm going to get hate mail for sure now.
Yeah, you are.
What your caller wanted to know is, would it be legal to carry pepper spray in Illinois, and is that covered under the concealed carry permit?
Yes and no.
That's right. You can
It
carry
is legal.
Yep.
But no, it's not part of concealed carry. The Illinois concealed carry law is somewhat, I don't know if it's completely unique, but it's at least somewhat unique as far as it doesn't cover any other weapons other than handguns. The Illinois law is a firearm concealed carry law. It's not concealed carry weapons as they have in other states.
There have been interesting spin-offs, though, like switchblades.
Yes,
Which,
that's a new one.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that is they've always been banned in Illinois. And I've had them for years, but, you can't go anywhere with them. So, and then somebody, somewhere along the line, the legislature goes, wait, a knife is too dangerous to carry, but we let them carry guns. Is there a logical thing to that?
Well, and actually, in Illinois, you can carry knives of any size. You could carry a machete as long as it's not concealed. So switchblades were always just kind of that, like, loophole of,
well, but
like,
it's,
you can have other knives, but you can't have a switchblade.
Yeah, the problem with the switchblade was that you press a button and it snaps open, which, what the hell's the difference, to be honest with you? It's Illinois objects to everything.
Well, and half the laws don't make any sense.
I think I've told you, when we went in to look at evidence in a case, I had my pocket knife. And as it happened, I was wearing something that covered it was one of those shirts that hang out. So it actually covered the thing on the knife sticking out of my pocket. And when the evidence tech was having trouble opening the box, I said, "You want to borrow a knife?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I whip it out, and the prosecutor's sitting there. He goes, "Great. Now I got expert witnesses walking in with concealed weapons on them in the police station." Anyway, I don't want to get down the road on that one. Ryan, apparently it's our Speaker of the House that has been holding up concealed carry reciprocity, saying something like the time is not right.
It's too controversial, yeah.
Yeah, the time is not right.
Almost every single Republican in the House has co-sponsored it.
That's exactly.
I think you got the votes. Just put it out there.
Yeah, it's insane, and particularly since they shot Scalise or whatever. How do you pronounce it?
Right.
Scalise, wasn't it?
Scalise, yeah. He came back the other day. Did you see that on the
didn't
news?
see it. I read he was back.
So I had the news on, or I had Channel 5 on when he came back, and all of a sudden I just hear all this applause, and like I missed the thing where they go, "This is we're breaking into this your regular programming," and right, and so all of a sudden I just hear all this applause, and so I go in the living room and I see that he's like coming in on crutches. I'm like, oh wow, it was, and he's like talking about God, and they're even putting it on the screen. NBC is like putting a little quote there, a little snippet, and saying that he's given all the glory to God for his recovery, and the power of prayer, and I mean it was very moving. It was very, very moving.
A number of the astronauts who've walked on the moon, found God.
I imagine that's a spiritual experience.
I knew one of them. I met him on a flight, and we kept in touch till he died. And he goes, you can't possibly imagine how small you feel when you look back at Earth and you can cover it with your thumb. He goes, when you see that and you look out in the other direction and you see that there's no end, it just goes forever. He goes, he said, just sends chills up your spine. You suddenly see life in a totally different way.
New perspective, yeah definitely.
So it was very interesting. He was a very interesting guy. I've known a lot of interesting people over the years, and they all seem to die. That's kind of weird.
Well, they're old though, right?
Oh, there's that. But
I mean, the guy that you're talking about, he was old.
He was he was a senior citizen. He was older than I was. Come to think of it, all the ones that were interesting that died were old. So I suppose it's not as bad as it sounds, but I don't know.
I hate to break it to you, everybody dies at some point.
Yeah, at some point we all crap out.
That's kind of how this ends.
Yeah, it is.
So the reason that we thought we were going to be talking about Ryan blocking concealed carry is because we have an article here with the wrong title on it. So that's why we thought I think we actually talked about that 2 weeks ago.
That may be.
Because there was an article about that, but I think it was in our packet 2 weeks ago.
Well,
this actual article, though, is very interesting. And I thought it was from AmmoLand News, which didn't make sense, and now it's all becoming clear to me. J.P. Morgan Chase is actually going to dump $40 million into economically disadvantaged neighborhoods on the south and west sides where chronic poverty and violence are prevalent. And it's interesting because this article, as it goes on, it becomes more and more bleeding heart in its tone. It says that people have been saying for years that it's a lack of opportunities driving people to commit crimes, and those crimes, like selling drugs, lead to murder, and etc. They insist that joblessness, substandard schools, and incessant poverty have created a culture of hopelessness, and that's why that we really just need money. We really just need investment in these communities to stop this cycle. And so Chase is going to test that theory.
And he's going to lose his money.
It's an Chase Bank. Community
whoever
groups,
it is.
They're going to lose their
They're going to lose their money.
Community groups working on the ground will be able to apply for grants to fund things like job training, small business expansion, health programs, and neighborhood revitalization. And then they're grants, so they're going to see, okay, You said you were going to do this, and did you do it? But
It's not going to happen.
no, what this says is certainly gangs can offer more money for selling drugs on the street than whatever jobs they create are going to offer. It's just like that story, was it San Francisco? They were going to pay people not to commit crimes.
Yeah, right. Was it $1,000 or something?
This sounds kind of like that, of like, okay, you can't possibly pay them enough to make it lucrative,
and
make it enticing.
Even if you offered that much money, it's not their lifestyle. That's the problem with this. You know, we've talked to Paul McKinley a number of times, and I like Paul. And for those two people who listen, if you don't know Paul McKinley is a black man who lived in the ghetto, was a badass gangbanger, did hard time.
He was pretty high up in the gang, right?
And did hard time, hard prison time for armed robbery, and came out a Republican, which I think
he found God, and he became a Republican.
So there is some rehabilitation in jail, and so he's still in the ghetto, and he's trying to get kids and stuff out. But and he says there's lack of opportunity, but he says first, you can give all the opportunity you want. They've dumped billions of dollars into these areas collectively, and it's done no good, because the problem is, these are words from him. You're going to have to take a lot of people who are there now and lock them up forever. What you have to do is you have to start over again, and you can't have that influence, a corrosive influence. They all have to go. Well, that's never going to happen. Nobody has the constitutional fortitude to take people like that and lock them up forever. But how each group of little kids grows up in a fatherless house.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say, is it really goes back even farther than that, is you have to figure out how to get fathers back in the home. And the best way to do that is to stop paying women to have babies out of wedlock.
Exactly. You get paid if there isn't
more,
a guy.
Right. You make more money if there's no father in the home.
Yeah.
That's the weak link in the chain right there.
Well, and that's about getting votes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's pandering. That's what it is.
Right. They're buying votes. But this article, ends by saying, we hope that young people will line up at the door, far outnumbering the 400 initial slots available, and show the naysayers that they are willing to take any legitimate job that is available to them.
I'll put a $5 on that.
I was thinking vulgar hand gesture, but
and I'll give you odds too.
Right. So anyway, it turns out this is actually from the Chicago Tribune.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
It's not going to work, and people I'm sure are going, you see the negative. Yeah. Actually, I do.
I do.
When you can go to inner city schools, when I was dean, I used to go to inner city schools, and I would say, I'm from a private university. All you have to do is graduate high school, and I can give you a free college degree. And they didn't care.
Right.
Weren't interested. So I don't care what you offer them in terms of jobs. They're not looking for jobs. That's not what they want. You got to get rid of the corrosive environment. And now the one alternative way that might be workable is, because they're never going to have the political fortitude to lock all these people up for life. That's never going to happen. What you could do is take young kids, mom and the young kid, and just pull them out of there and find them a place away from that.
That doesn't work either. That's been tried too.
It has. Yeah, it's true.
I mean, you said even here in Shorewood there was a negative story about that. I mean, Bolingbrook, every place it's been tried, it hasn't worked. That influence always follows them.
Well, that's a good way to end the show. Really depressing.
I know. Such a happy thoughts.
Happy talk. How you gonna? Okay, fine. I just had to do a little South Pacific.
That was before. That was South Pacific. I was going to say it was before my time. Well, it was before my time.
South Pacific has been around a long time.
I know.
About 2 million years.
If you believe in an old Earth.
I believe in an old Earth. I believe in an old me, so there must be an old Earth. I mean, you can't have old people without old ground.
South Pacific, the musical, however.
The musical part.
Like
we're back to the
50s or something.
Did you like my rendition?
It was excellent. For a white guy singing something that was supposed to be, that was Tahitians, right? in the show.
I was about to read the open.
Flip it over, do the close.
We're going to do the close, aren't we? Well, we'd like to thank you for being foolish enough to take the time to listen tonight.
That's an hour you'll never get back.
We'd appreciate if you tell your friends. Probably you don't want to tell your friends about On Target Radio. Yeah.
We'd also like to thank our engineer, Eric Allen, and our sponsors, the Will County chapter of the Illinois State Rifle Association, Yellow Checker of Joliet, My Editor Creative Business Services, the Aurora Sportsman's Club, and Safer USA.
Bye.